But you're here because you're part of ULMAC, and that's the Univocal Legislative Minority Advisory Council.
That's correct.
And I should know that because I'm part of it too. So, and I know there's like 3 issues that we're dealing with, and this issue that we're talking about is one of the 3, and that is the Plantations bill.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about the Plantations bill.
Sure. The Plantation bill encompasses the official state name of the State of Rhode Island. Currently, we are the State of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations. And there are many of us in the community that feel that the word plantations, as it relates to Rhode Island's history, it really carries a morally offensive overtone to it. So we're looking to have that removed by legislation. So we have a bill in the House, H 5291, and we have a bill in the Senate, S 0026. The bill in the Senate is sponsored by Senator Harold Metz. The bill in the House is sponsored by Representative Joe Almeida.
Okay, and and I've heard about this even previous to ULMAC's involvement, because I've lived in the state almost 20 years,
right.
And I know that there are many people that are highly offended by the name plantations,
right.
And it does conjure up slavery, and I know there are people on the other side that say, well, it's not the same kind of plantations that was in Alabama and Mississippi, but that's not the point. The
right.
point is that it conjures up that kind of image, and to be quite honest with you, if a sizable part of Rhode Island was offended by almost anything, if I knew about it, then I would say just do away with it. What's the big deal? Especially when it's revenue neutral. It's not going to cost anything.
That's right.
If somebody, I don't care what group, name a group, if 20% of the state, let's say that group, was offended by something the state was doing, I'd support them. Right. Live and let live. I just don't get it, I guess only when it comes down to things like plantations or whatever, it becomes a big issue.
Sure.
Okay. Now, who are the organizations supporting this bill?
Well, we have, ULMAC is actually an umbrella organization of several other community organizations that include folks like the Urban League, the NAACP, Progreso Latino, the Rhode Island Latino Civic Fund, and other groups. So it's a large array of organizations, roughly about 20 to 25, and we tackle different legislative issues. This one, of course, being the Plantations bill, but we also have legislation that's looking at the minority business development and also expungement from criminal records.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know that the organization that I work close with, the Rhode Island Affirmative Action Professionals, is also part of this.
Right.
I want to make sure that we mentioned that.
That's right. Good plug.
So, okay. Now, people, obviously feel this is important because you got legislation.
Right.
Okay. Let's tell the viewing audience, why the groups and why the people feel it's so important to put this legislation forward.
Right.
Why is it so important?
Well, as I mentioned previously, the word plantation, as it is attached to Rhode Island's history, a lot of people don't know that Rhode Island was actually the largest slave port during the transatlantic slave trade. If you look at a report that was put out by Brown University, Slavery and Justice, they actually take a look at their role in the slave trade and how that affected the economics of Rhode Island. There's also a documentary out called Traces of the Trade that's been put out by Katrina Brown, who is a descendant of the DeWolf family, the DeWolf family being a family that profited quite a bit from slave trade for many, many years. And became,
from Bristol, Rhode Island? From
Bristol, Rhode Island, correct. So, we think that the time is right to have this removed from our state name. If we look at November's election, certainly we know that a lot of Rhode Islanders came out and supported an African-American president. And I know that a lot of Rhode Islanders feel that this word is outdated and really should not be attached to the state name. And we've gotten quite a bit of support from the community organizations, and we've also had some folks outside of our state gain some interest in this issue as well.
Yeah. I definitely have heard, over the years, you know, how offensive this word is
Right.
to many, and you know, it's just inevitable that something like this is just going to gain that kind of momentum, just because of the way society has matured.
Sure.
You know. Now, but the thing that people, I think, try to push back on is, you know, they think that it means we've got to erase that word from every single document that's ever existed in Rhode Island, which is going to cost thousands of dollars.
Right.
But that's not the case.
That's not the case, right?
What is the real case?
Well, what we're proposing is that we actually phase out the word plantations from materials that the state uses. For example, letterhead, business cards.
Moving forward.
Moving forward. We don't certainly mean to have the changes made now because we know that that would cost money, but it will not cost money if we run out of letterhead, you know, a year from now and we have to order new letterhead. If anything, we'll probably save a couple of pennies because there'll be less ink they'll have to use on the letterhead. So,
and I know there's other arguments other than that, but that
Sure.
seems to be the major argument. It's going to cost too much money.
Right.
But if you take that argument off the table, I don't think there's too much of an argument against doing it. You know, if it's offensive to, who knows, maybe at least a third of the state, if not maybe half the state. Who knows? I don't know how many.
I think more than that.
Well, maybe all the state. Who knows? I don't know. I haven't done any polls or whatever. It just needs to happen. And you know, you've mentioned the different organizations that are supporting the bill. How can the viewers find out more?
Sure. We have a website.
Okay.
It is wearenotaplantation.com. Folks are welcome to come visit our website. We also have a page on Facebook. If you're a member of Facebook, you can just do a word search under We Are Not a Plantation. It'll take you to a page that'll have more information. And we also have a website, which is wearenotaplantation@yahoo.com.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to say on this matter? Because we have a little bit of time.
Sure.
About a minute.
Okay. Well,
well, actually, I'm being told that we got to wrap it up.
Oh, we got to wrap it up. Okay.
But
thanks, Jim.
Wait, no, actually, I'm being told we got another minute. Who's the floor director? No, we won't go there.
Right.
Well, about 45 seconds.
Right. Well, what we've done is we've actually gone out to cities and towns in Rhode Island, from Newport all the way up to Woonsocket, and we've been talking to people, and we found that there is a huge support to do something like this. I think originally some people were apprehensive because they did not know what the change actually entailed, at least financially, which you said is one of the big arguments that you hear out there. But once folks understand that, first of all, this will have minimal impact on a budget, and also understand the history of the state and how it's tied into plantations.
It just makes our state great.
It makes our
to
state
get rid of
great.
things
That's
that offend huge
Absolutely.
amounts of people in the state.
Right.
And Nick, you're an eloquent spokesman. We're
Thank
going to
you,
have
sir.
you come back.
Thank you.
Even though you're a Yankee fan, you'll be back. We'll talk about
I
that
know
later.
you were going to say that.